plumbing nightmare happening here. And it's so funny. I was just thinking,
I think we should do a mime show. I'm just kidding.
shoveling. Like, luckily we have like a thing up there for the cats. Like, we have like a little, yeah, happy hydrated body. I've now got a hydrated house. That's what I called this class today. Hydration. It's all about the water. And I was just thinking about the plumber. I was like, yeah, we probably need to call it plumber. Not because I was just thinking about like the possibilities of that. And then it was like, now we really do. But we don't, but we do. And I'm like drenched in disgusting floor cat litter water. Oh, the joys. So, but let's just get going and moving. I did manage to wash my hands, and that is that. So, I am going to start moving, hopefully with some other people. I got some people in my Zoom room. I got a couple people on the live stream. Let's us start. Inhale, open, stretch out and up, and exhale. I think one really important thing in life is to find the humor when the worst things happen. Inhale up. And maybe the excitement as well. Like, right? Excitement and anxiety are real close to each other. Inhale, open, open, open. And exhale, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Let it go. And let's spiral from there. Ah, twisting, getting into this horizontal plane. Yeah, so for my people, I almost didn't make it today because I was in the upstairs bathroom. Like, there was essentially a fountain of water coming out of the sink. And our whole floor. Fortunately, our weird old house, the floor kind of curls up like a bowl, and we've got some crap old linoleum in there. So I think we caught a lot of the water. Otherwise, we've hydrated the house. So the house is getting some hydration. Let's go up, big, and then spiral and twist. Oh, painting the rainbow. Inhaling, opening, exhaling, spiraling, and coming down. I feel like we're getting into like when we come down, it's like our shot putters or discus thrower position, like very Olympian. Using the breath in the lungs. And then let's just go up, take it down, bend your knees, shift from side to side. So this is dynamic stretching, right? This is stretching where we are moving as we stretch. So we're not just like working the tissue sort of one-dimensionally, we're really three-dimensionally moving it. Nothing is being required to do too much. So basically this kind of dynamic stretching is what you want to do in the beginning, where you're hydrating your body. Coming up, circling the hips. Little hula. This isn't really a hula. This would be more of a hula, right? Getting some flow. Change direction, go the other way. But it might be more like a hula hoop. Hula hooping the hips. I had a hula hoop when I was a kid. And like depending on like the weight of the hula hoop, actually I still have hula hoops. I have some in the basement, but they're kind of small and they're not very good. They're like the cheapo dollar store hula hoops, circling around. But hula hooping is some great core exercise. Letting this really mobilize your feet. Change direction, other way. Oh my God. I just feel like, what is it called when there's all the water in the bilge and they're like bucketing it out so that the ship doesn't sink. I just did that up in my bathroom. And my scooper was like a brush, a dust a pin. Dustpan. That's what it's called, a dustpan. Circled it in the other way. And fortunately, it was pretty flat, and it was actually doing a great job of scooping out the water. So I was like, oh, on the floor, and I was brushing the water in with the brush. Change direction again. Feet waking up, toes waking up. So those toes and our feet are like the distal part of our body, right? Here's our center. There's the edge. Here's the other edges. We could say this is an edge. So just move and become aware of that center to periphery, center to edge, like free movement moment, center to edge, core distal relationship. And then there's something else I wanted to do here. What was it? Oh, it was feet and legs, ankles. So we're going to bend our knees, straighten and press up and lower. Bend your knees, straighten, pushing down. So I'm not rolling out or rolling in. I'm right up the middle. So hips, knees, ankles, toes has a pathway, parallel pathway. Bending and straightening. Yeah, my knee is doing a lot better. But this is part of the stuff I've been doing, is to really get that harmony in the pathway from the sole of my foot up through the back of my body, over the top of my foot, up the front of my body. And actually, while I'm talking like these are these parallel lines, if we looked at the bone of my femur or my two tibia and fibula, they're really curvilinear, right? Bones are curved, they're curvaceous. And they're innervated, right? There'll be like a little hole somewhere and there's a nerve popping in there. So very alive. I've been really into the bones of late. And not only that, they help produce our lymphatic cells. So they're producing the B cells, the bone cells. And for older people, most of those are the ones like in your femur, in your pelvis, in your big bones. But for young people, babies and kids, most of the bones, I think, are producing those B cells. So that's our health, our lymphatic. That's what I wanted to do also, the lymph flush today. So I'm just going to shut this so I'm not quite so backlit. It is rainy, otherwise I'd never be able to be in this direction in this room. Coming in, hands rubbing together. So you're rubbing your hands together to get energy, feeling, sensation, awareness, all of that stuff. Relax your neck and tongue. Relax your face. Yeah, let your head go. Check out the environment. Are you safe? Yeah, to downregulate, your body has to know that to some level it's safe. And with all the bells and whistles that we have, pinging our nervous system, it's hard to know that sometimes. So taking your right hand to your left upper quadrant. Here's my collarbone. I'm going to go in and really get that moving. I'm also going to move from the inside to the outside. Tongue, neck, and throat. You can come under that a little bit too. So this is a big area where the lymph is returning in to the bloodstream and going to like recapitulate and come back out. So this needs to be cleared first. And on the left side, we're doing 3/4 of the lymph on this side of our body for some reason. And on the right side, it's just 1/4. Switching to the other side, left hand to right, tongue, neck, throat. We want to work on these places like maybe 15, 30 seconds, a minute, depending on how you're feeling. And I have to say, I don't know if it's the breath work, the daily walks, or the lymphatic flush, but I don't have the same. My allergies that were getting really bad are almost gone. So this stuff works. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Coming up behind the angle of the jaw. How did it go? Mom, she can't hear me. She took over the bailing upstairs. Well, I'll tell you that floor eventually is going to be cleaner than it's been in a long time. Okay, shake that out. We're going to do one in our face. So, get the itchies. Right in here, next to your nose, circle. So it should be like a little indentation. And you're going to kind of squish it around. Squish up your face while you're at it. So like squish it up, mobilize it so you're sort of softening the pattern of your face. And then we're just going to take under the cheekbone into right there next to your tragus. So just like a little circle, like a stroke pulling through. I started to notice, like I was seeing, because I've been making all those videos, I started to notice how like this cheekbone really is sharp and this one's kind of like puffy. Like usually we have one eye that's bigger, one thing. So I'm like, let me get in there and see if I can move that tissue around and get my face a little more even. I'm like do my own work on my face with my hands. That's as much face work as I need. So I'm going to just get into my jaw a little bit, coming around outside of my teeth. Same thing up here. And then just up into above your eye. So not, you don't want to be getting like pushing on your eyeball, but up and in. And then shake that out from the top of the head, working your way down. Some people do this like that. I like to move it. And I'm going like whole center out and down. And just feel into that. Like, is there more aliveness in your cranium now? All right, and shake that out. Now we're coming back up to armpit peck, getting in there, breathing into it. Yeah, feel what's happening in your pec. Are you holding a ton of tension in there? Does that have some movement? Also, your deltoid. Like some people really pull in. Our muscles don't need to be working all the time. They need to be relaxed a lot of the time. Switch it to the other side, same thing. Be generous with your movement with yourself. And if it hurts, just go lighter, go gentler. We all have sort of different energetic patterns in our bodies, and some of us are more rough and tumble types like me, and some are a little more precious. If that's you, just be softer. You don't have to go full balls to the wall, but get the movement in there. Let's just do K27 right here. Collarbones an inch or two down. There should be two little indentations circling in there. Relax your neck, throat, and tongue. Right, so even as we're doing all of this, it might be like, oh, we're not exercising, we're not getting the burn. But in reality, we're moving all this tissue, we're moving fluid, we're doing all this interior organ work as well as tissue work. And coming down the middle, from down through your sternum, making our way down to this cisterna-chyli. Here's my belly button, here's my xiphoid process right in the middle. Yeah, so sometimes when I see people, like if I'm leading a class and I see where people are touching themselves, I'm like, they have no idea where their belly button is. So, right? Because where are they touching themselves? They'll be like up here when I'm down there. Start to learn parts about your body. Xiphoid process right there at bottom of the ribs, belly button. Most people can find their belly button, but sometimes you'd be surprised. I'm like, are they just not paying attention? Anyway, bring it into the inguinal fold. It's above that fold in your legs. Lots of lymph nodes in there. This lymph flush is detoxifying your body. And especially these days with all of these wild, crazy poxes and viruses going around, we want our immune system as online as possible. Taking it behind the knee, right behind the eye of the knee, circling in there. Oh. And then let's take it down to the floor and get some actual exercise. All right, I have weights and a little block. I don't know if we'll use them. We'll see. All the way down onto your back. Starting with spirals, letting the legs fall one way and then the other. Letting that massage through your hips and lower back. So easy and loose. You can go slower if that feels good, go faster. Sometimes like I see people and they just kind of stay there. If that's what you need, do it, right? Listen to your body. Every body is different and every body is different every day. Like one day my body needs this, the next day it needs that. So listen in. We're going to take it across and go deeper, spiraling. And I'm just leaving my knee bent. And for me, part of what this does is it gets right in between my shoulder blades. Like my rhomboids get this extra bit of love as my legs are going across. And then bringing it in, let's start with pelvis up. So pressing up. What we're going to do is you're going to just reach one leg down and then in, and then reach the other leg down and in. Trying to keep your pelvis high. Lengthen it out, bring it up, lengthen it out, fold it in. Reach it long, bring it up, and think of pointing your toes, pointing your leg in, stretch it out. So you're bowing your whole body out. In, lengthen, bring it in, reach it out, bring it in. From there, open your feet a little wider, knees wide, knees touch. Opening up and closing. Open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. Last one. Open, bring it in, pulse. Going 1, pushing, 2, pushing up, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you're going to pulse forward and backward, pushing and pulling with your legs. Just pulsing. Let that massage out your upper traps. So a lot of back body activity. And then slowly lower it down, all the way down to the floor, vertebra by vertebra. Legs up to the ceiling. Give them a shake. Shake it all out. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Free up the head, tail. Free up the spine. And take a happy baby pose. Breathing into it. Circle your ankles one way. Circle them the other way. And let's just do one leg at a time, one in, one out. So we worked our hamstrings a little bit. Now they should be ready to stretch. So think of lengthening the bottom leg down, top leg up. Using your breath. So using the breath, like you may be breathing faster or slower than me. Basically, you just want to keep your awareness with it and feel as if there is some kind of rhythm that makes sense with your movement. And then we're going to change it. Relax your head down. Turn it from side to side. Let it go. Soften your face. Soften your neck. Soften your jaw. Relax your tongue. Shake it out. Let's do hands down by your sides, legs up to the ceiling. You're going to open your legs out. Flex your knees and ankles. Extend and point. Crisscross. Beat, beat, and open. Flex. You can take your hands behind your head if you want. Beat, beat, open, flex, or leave your head on the floor. Either way. Beat, beat, open, flex. Reach it out. Crisscross. Beat, beat, open. You might be tighter. If you are, really just work for those straight legs. So you're getting that tissue to lengthen and open as you're working at the same time, right? If you're more open, go for it. I was once teaching a class and there was a girl in there that every time she opened, her legs hit the floor. It was like, boom. I was like, oh my God, wow. And that was actually at Equinox, 54th Street, many moons ago. Breathing into it. Last one. And release. Open it up, internally rotate one leg at a time, spiraling in one side and then the other. Breathing into it. Bring it in, hands down by your sides. Let's take the arms up, inhale, lift, and exhale down. If you feel like being exciting, you can use weights with this. It might not feel good to you. If it doesn't, don't do it, but you can add the weights if that feels interesting. And I'm going to keep changing the relationship of my palms as I do it. So palms are going to be shifting towards each other, away from each other. So palms are facing each other. Palms start facing up and then facing down. and then facing out. And my spiral out, I can try and open out this way, which isn't going to go very far, or I can rotate in to go out, right? 2 more. Inhale, use your breath. Exhale. Last one. I'm doing the opposite breathing of what I told you. So either way is fine. Getting rid of your weights if you were using them. Oh, Kitty. Hello there. Kitty Cam in Saul's room. Arms out side, knees together up above you. You can do this with bent knees or straight legs. Big spiral. I'm going to start with my knees bent, and then I'm going to move towards straight legs. A couple more times. And bring it in. Breathe. I have migrated. There's the pea pod. I've got my own kitty cam going on. And for those of you who don't know her, she is a Manx, and that is what what her tail looks like. Nobody cut it off. So from here, let's do regular hundreds with a block. If you have the block, you're going to stick it in between your legs, right on your pubic bone. Intimate moment with your block. Arms up over your head, toes touching the floor, coming up, pulsing 1. Ooh, I cramped to my foot. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, exhale. So I'm going to flex and point just because of the cramping factor. Inhale, open, exhale up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. I feel like this is another opportunity to use the weights. Don't do it if you have injuries, but if it feels good, going up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, exhale up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. And this weight business for me is because of pole dancing. It really, I have to be like strengthening in my rotator cuff and working with this relationship of my hands in to my torso. And actually doing this with the weights is a lot more fun and intense. And again, I'm also shifting the way that the direction that my palms are pointing so that they're sometimes facing each other, sometimes facing down, sometimes facing up. One last one. Deep breath in and relax. Turn your head from side to side. Really free up your rib cage and lungs. So I am doing a little side movement. Yeah, if you saw me sitting up, you'd see this, right? Doing it on the floor. Head-tail connection. Pinky through the radius and ulna, humerus into your rotator cuff. It's connecting into the top of your clavicle and your scapula. So also known as your collarbone and your shoulder blade. So finding that rhythm, call it the scapulohumeral rhythm, which is the relationship between the scapula and your humerus. Your scapula should move. It should have mobility. That's also going to be affecting your lungs, right? We're not separated. It's not like, okay, then there's the cage of the ribs and inside that's your lungs. It's like when we start moving all of this stuff, it's all moving. It's hydrated. It's happy. Happy hydration. Woo! So free up the shoulder blades on your back. As you're there, let yourself move them around and give yourself a massage with the floor. So the shoulder blades are kind of floating over the rib cage. They're not connected by joints, right? They're like on top of there, and there's muscle underneath, there's subscapular muscle, and there's like tendons. Ligaments connect bone to bone. So there's ligaments of your arm going into your rotator cuff, right? But the scapula have a lot of freedom. So get them moving around, right? If our scapula get all locked down our back, draw your shoulders down, lift your chest. If we don't have mobility and movement in there, we are limiting the power of our lungs, of our heart, all that kind of stuff. So we want to have freedom, movement in the lungs and the heart. Yeah. So let's just do one more thing. Come up. This is for our lungs and heart. So you can sit in any way. When I say just do one more thing, I'm talking about with the scapula. We're doing a lot more than one more thing. Big circles with your elbows. You're trying to touch them together in the front. And this again is all rotator cuff health. Change direction, other way. Open as wide as you can. Feeling that round movement in the joint, right? Especially if we have an injury in there. Usually when we do something smaller, because we don't have the whole arm weight, it's just coming in, so that's a lot less weight. It's easier to get this movement. Let your scapula move. You know, the whole wax on. Let's try it. I'll show you from the back. Scapula going up, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, out, down, in. And then the other way, wax on, wax off. This is what is the reference? Karate Kid reference. Down, out, up, in, down, out, up, in, down, out, up, in, down, out, up, in. Now, rib cage, mobilize your rib cage, circle it around. And then the other way. Good. And let's flip onto our hands and knees. And we're gonna come right down into a forearm plank. Sorry, a forearm hands and knees, all fours, forearm quadruped. Arching and curling. Head, tail, really shine out through your pelvic floor in the arch, and then hollow scoop in the curl. Arching open, hollow and curl. Arch and open, pulling forward, pushing back, pulling forward, pushing back. Well, we're pulling forward, but we're also pulling back with our tail. And then bringing it into a forearm plank. And let's just push forward and backward. And then open your feet wider, circle your pelvis towards the floor into the ceiling. So you'll notice we're doing a lot of circling. We're doing a lot of really three-dimensional work with change direction, with your body. And then come down all the way. Bend your knees, relax your butt, relax your hips, relax your quads. Let your legs fall from side to side. Breathe. Trying to breathe in through your nose. And then taking the hands next to your chest, you're going to do a baby cobra coming up. Let's look to the right, look to the left, come back, hands to the floor, arch all the way up, look up, and then soften, bring it back down. Baby cobra coming up, look one way, look the other way, come into center, connect the hands all the way up. Using your breath. Inhale, look one way, look the other way, center, hands to the floor, arch up. One more. Inhale, look side, come in. Hands to the floor, arch up. This time, try to touch your toes to your head if that feels good. Does this feel good? Hard to say. And then release, take it back. Doing that does something to my hamstrings that nothing else does. So yeah, and also that huge stretch. Let's take the hands a little wider than our sticky mat, chest to the floor and up. Circles again. Letting your head, tail do whatever it wants to do. change direction. And then coming back in, let's do elbows to the floor, up, pressing up to the releve on your hand and down. If you want to make this harder, bring more weight over your arms. If you want to make it easier, scoot your weight back so you're not holding so much weight. So work with what feels good to you. Elbows to the floor, in, up, down. Maybe your elbows don't go all the way to the floor. Maybe just part way is enough. Whatever works for you. Going slower, you're going to feel more what is actually going on. You could also just hang out here in the bent elbow position. Like I can really feel my triceps firing up there. I would say that probably most people don't have the healthiest fingertips, wrist into elbow shoulder relationship with their body. So this is moving towards that. We're going to go over the back, bend, monkey hands, and we're going to arch. Just curl the toes under in the arch, and then push down, curl and round. Make a fist, chest open, stick out your butt, curl your toes under, and then push back of the hands into the floor, round. Make a fist and push. And one more. Make a fist and push. Let's come up onto your knuckles and let's circle your shoulders. So keeping your arms fairly stable, letting your body move inside of that, change direction other way. Lots of shoulder mobility today. And let's let that go. Shake it out. Figure eights with your hands. You can let it arch and curl if you want to. And shake it out. Coming into a side plank. We're going to go side forearm plank. Let's leave the bottom knee on the floor and take this up off the floor, elbow to knee, and then arch back. Elbow to knee and arch. Elbow to knee, head, tail, arch. Bring it in, open, out. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, and come around, legs to the other side. I want to say, I was just going to say, I was watching that Huberman, or listening to the Huberman podcast with Ido Portal, and it's just what sort of gym culture thinks movement is, and what's potential in movement, and what dancers think movement is, and what somatic people think movement is. Like, it's nice to have a combo of all of that, right? That we're not, that one's bad, that one's good, this one's bad, this one's good, but we're kind of like, okay, I'm going to use some of all of it. Like, and then I think at one point, Andrew was asking him if somebody's going to start a movement practice, what should they do? And he didn't really like specifically answer that, but maybe he did, I don't know. What I would say is do what is fun, do what you like, do what feels good, do what is interesting. And then once you feel like you're ready to learn another thing, add something else. Inhale, exhale, last one. Yeah. We can be so exploratory with our movement. So it could be playful and fun. Shift things around. Let's just release our hips by rolling across them. So rolling across one and then the other. Creating a relationship with feeling into our bodies. So like, what does that feel like? That we spend some time in that participation. So let's stay on one side and just rock a little bit so that you're getting deeper in, feeling what you feel. And then over to the other side, same thing, getting that shear. So it's not just rolling across it, but you're shearing so that the muscles, tissues, bones, fascia get a different relationship as you move through them. All right, well, let me see what time it is. Let's come into a straddle. And just roll your pelvis forward and backward here. So you can lift up out of it to get the roll, or you can sink down into it a little bit, whatever feels good to you, depending on how flexible you are. If you're tighter, you might just be here, right? And if you can't roll forward at all, you probably need to elevate your pelvis. So if there is no roll, get a pillow under your butt so that your legs are a little lower, which will help you get some movement in there. And then we're going to circle our torso around. So as we're circling here, think of pouring your guts forward, side, and back. Let them have freedom and mobility. So you're not trying to control, like don't try and suck in your belly or stop anything from moving. You're just letting it mobilize. And then the other way, pouring those guts around, freeing up the organs. And again, it's a circle. So our diaphragm is going to love this. Our diaphragm is going to be going, oh yeah, thank you so much for giving me this really three-dimensional movement. And then come in and shake it out, let it go. Relax your neck, jaw, and tongue. Right, so we started off pelvis, then we started thinking diaphragm, then we have to come up here and see what's happening up here. Right, all of these interrelationships between the tissue in our body. And once they start to go, oh, if I'm moving, I need to move, and then I need to move, then there's this natural thing that happens. And a lot of this is really not like, it's sort of not verbal. Like so much awareness in our body isn't about words because it's actually the sensation of what's going on. Like I can say a lot of words, but those are just words, right? So feeling into something is different than whatever's coming out of my mouth. All right, let's take it to the side. Side stretch. Try not to pop your butt off the floor. So try to externally rotate that other leg. Actually, let's just play with that. Let's play with flexing that foot, turning it in, turning it out, and pointing. Flex, rotate in, rotate out, point. Flex. This one's just relaxed out and point and flex. Turn it in, turn it out, bring it up, taking it to the other side. Flex. Turn it in, turn it out, and point. Flex, rotate, rotate, point, flex, in, out, point. So we could say that this is a combo of a dynamic and a static stretch, right? Our upper body, hello, squeaky deaky, come here. Our upper body is in this more stable thing while our lower body is doing this dynamic thing, right? Last one. And come up. Yeah, the cats are so bored by me working out. They're like, oh, we thought you might be fun, but you're not. Shake it out, bang it out, rotate in and out. Let that get really soft. Banging out the calves, hamstrings. And see, I'm turning mine in and out because I know I need to get the bang on this lateral part of my calf, also known as my peroneals. Yeah, so that injury that I had in my knee, which is way better now, I've done a ton of work with this whole line, also the inside, down the front, and then also like working my quad and lengthening that out, and then hamstring as well, pushing into the floor. So somehow it's still a little bit different than the other knee, but it's not all full of water, which it was before. So that took like maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks to kind of come back to neutral-ish. So I'm just saying this because I feel like we think we have an injury and it's all over, and then we either ignore it, or sometimes we see a doctor who wants to cut us open. And all of these may be good choices, but for me, it's better to usually get in there and do some of my own body work. If I can see a chiropractor, massage therapist, body worker, then I do that. But this one, I didn't have a chance to see anyone, and it's like way better now. But I have worked a lot on it, and I've also kept walking and doing all my things. All right, onto our sides. We're going to do a side kick. Let's go parallel and turned in. So going up 1, 2, heel up, toes down, 3, 4, we'll go in 8s, 5, 6, 7, 8. If your leg's getting really high, there's a pretty good chance that you're turning it out. So try to stay turned in there. Now that we're done with that, let's go parallel. 1, 2, doesn't have to go high. High will go when we turn out. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, turning it out. Toes up. 1, I'm going high. You can flex up, point down if you want to get the foot working. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're going to take it forward, sort of Pilates piking-ish. But we're going to work with the opposite arm to like finding the contralateral pattern. Letting your body spiral. And let's grab on and take a quad stretch, take it back. You can kick it back or draw your heel into your butt. Yeah, this feels so different now because before I was feeling a lot of stuff up here and now it's like, oh, much happier. And then release, roll onto your back, cross your ankle over your knee, draw it in towards you in whatever way feels good to you. Breathe. And then release that. Give it a shake. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Rotate in and out. And flip it over to the other side. At the same time, like with this knee thing, it's a lot better, but it's not totally better. So I have to be careful not to get too excited and then go bonkers with it. All right, starting with both legs turned in for 8. Going 1, 2, 3, 4. Reaching through your heel, long straight leg. 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn it parallel. 1, 2. Legs are straight down below you. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn it out. Flex up, point down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is dynamic stretching, right? When we're kicking up like that. And in the Huberman podcast on stretching, they say, well, the static stretching gets you there faster. You know what really gets you there faster? Doing all of it. The combo. You do some dynamic, some static, some ballistic. Okay, here we go. Maybe that's ballistic because we're really throwing it. Opposite arm to leg. Finding that diagonal. Feel what's happening in the rotator cuff of the top arm. I'm letting that whole thing turn out slightly and then in here. Last one. Grab on and quad stretch. Either kicking it back or not. It's a whole lot of little kitty cat tufts of hair around here. And yeah, it's like when you have cats, you got to vacuum all the time, especially when it's hot and they're all like shedding like crazy. And release, roll it over, cross it over. Draw it in towards you, breathe into it. Oh, and here's the last one. Gaylord, oh, he's just going to lay down just out of range. But I really got to share it with you. You can see Mr. Gaylord, Lord Gaylord. There you are. Hey, little buddy. He's the one that needs the exercise the most. He's the oldest. He's the big guy. In his position with his feet and paw. Usually he likes to have 2 feet and 1 paw touching something all at the same time. It makes him feel grounded. It's like you can see that he's happy when he's in that weird little position, right? Which is right there. One paw out, two toes, and one foot holding. Let's see if we can get a better view of that. Oh, no, he moved a paw, so it's cheating. It's going to clean it. Okay, cat cam is over. I think we're running out of time anyway. So we're just going to end up with some hip stretches and then maybe a little bit of standing movement. So coming in, let's do ankle to knee. I haven't done it in a while. Just going to hit that out for a second. You can see how on my leg, the way my leg kind of goes in, this kind of comes out. Like it's not totally straight. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it. So the way that we're all fit together is generally quite different. And we certainly don't look anything like a plastic skeleton. If we were, you know, deboned and just looking at the way the bones are defleshed, our bones would all be pretty different from each other. Basically the same shape, but different, protrusions, different forms within the bone. Gil Headley just did, maybe he didn't just do it, maybe I just saw it, but he has a thing talking about like what a plastic model looks like compared to two human models. And it's like, it's quite different. And the two humans are quite different than each other too. And certainly doing body work on people, they feel so different. And even locations of things can be very different. And then come up, which is just pointing to the fact that like some things, yeah, that my leg is like, what did you do that for? Got to soften it out and then do the other side. Which one goes on top? This one. So what I was going to say is different things are going to heal different people, different modalities, different energies, we're all different. And so some people are going to respond really well to one thing, other people to another thing. It's not ever one size fits all. I got to go back to this one more time because I feel like I didn't do it, but I did. All right, let it go. And the more you can like create a relationship of feeling into your own body. So like, oh yeah, this tissue feels tight, this tissue feels loose, or this is actually a little bit inflamed, or I can see there's a little bit of water in there. Not so much as there was, but there's still a little bit of fluid in there. So knowing what's going on, and then knowing, does my body respond better to heat or cold? And what happens if I do one and then the other? So like, because people can say you should stretch for 30 seconds, but it's not the same for everybody. It's different from person to person. It's different from day to day. Let's take our feet to the floor, knees towards the floor, and then heels toward the floor. If they can touch down, great. If they can't, no worries. Moving forward and backward. Yeah, every day is a different day in your body, and your body's going to respond differently on different days. I mean, generally, it's not going to be hugely different, but it might. I think that when we train sort of in the gym, often we just are training doing the same stuff a lot. So it's good to have a variety of other things happening as well. We don't want to do the same exercises over and over every single day or every other day. We want to have a variety pack. It's just the feet now, but there's the happy buddy. He's so cute. All right, taking your feet underneath you, opening your feet wide, shifting from side to side, feeling the pads of your feet, like feeling what it feels like on the ball of your feet, on your heel as you shift weight. Sometimes as people age, the fascia and the padding kind of gets less resilient. So when we bring our awareness to it, we move with it, we feel into it. So if I really want to feel it, I can go just onto the floor. I can feel what that padding is doing. And I want to point out that these flat surfaces are not giving us the same negotiation as if we were walking around. I was walking around in the park yesterday barefoot, and like where there's different levels of ground, so you have to adjust. That's so healthy for the tissue in your body. Come in, bring it up. Let's do a balancing. Oh yeah, let's do a cross body bring it in and find your balance. And then big weight shift, woo, find your balance on the other side. I'm gonna back it up so you can see my whole body. Move this. So a little bit of a challenge. So a big weight shift, bring it in. Big weight shift, bring it in. If my hand goes back, it's gonna make it harder. So if I keep it right up there in my, woo, right there, not behind me, should be easier. Big weight shift, find it, settle. Big weight shift. So if I think of that before I even go, that this hand is going to be just slightly in front of me, just slightly, that's going to give me more balance. So if I'm going to make my big shift and I think, where's this hand? And then, oh wait, no, where's this hand? Because this is the one staying up. And then I go to it, it's a lot easier than if I just go wildly, like, okay, it's going to happen. But if I think about it, bringing in my awareness, it helps. Let's take it to the back, same thing. Taking it to the back, find it. Yeah, feel the opposite hand that's going to stay up. It's going to help you balance. Good, bring it in, shake it out. Everything have a spaz attack. It was a dancer in the 80s called Spaz Attack. That was his name. And he like shaked and threw himself around. Shook. All right. He's in a lot of people's videos. New wave stuff. Inhale, open, stretch it out and up. Exhale, you can bend your knees, stick out your butt, release it down. Rolling up, vertebra by vertebra, or maybe faster than that. Open it up and exhale. Arch, take it down. Surrender, let go. Last one, inhale, lift it up. Exhale, take it all the way down. And then down there, straighten and bend your knees a couple times. Feeling the tissue from the soles of the foot through the back of the leg up into your sit bones. Shake your head no, nod yes. Roll it all the way up, coming up to the top and bringing it in. So TD Land people, I am trying to do this regularly. And if I haven't started my class at like 9 or 9:30 or 10, wait 5 minutes because it should probably pop on. Usually the Zoom people, we're all just getting in there.